Welcome to our devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tata Jayam Udiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Hare Krishna. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 2nd, The Lord in the Heart, Shloka number 36. Tasmāt sarva atmana rajan.
तस्मात् सर्वात्मना राजन्
Harihi sarvatra sarvada.
हरिः सर्वत्र सर्वदा
Shrotavyah kirtitavya cha.
श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यः च
Smartavyah bhagavan nrunam.
स्मर्तव्यः भगवान् नॄणाम्
Tasmāt sarva atmana rajan.
तस्मात् सर्व आत्मना राजन्
Harihi sarvatra sarvada.
हरिः सर्वत्र सर्वदा
Shrotavyah kirtitavya cha.
श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यः च
स्मर्तव्यः भगवान् नॄणाम्.
स्मर्तव्यः भगवान् नॄणाम्
तस्मान् सर्व आत्मना राजन् हरिः सर्वत्र सर्वदा श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यः च स्मर्तव्यः भगवान् नॄणाम्. हरे
तस्मात्
कृष्ण.
सर्व आत्मना राजन् हरिः सर्वत्र सर्वदा श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यः च स्मर्तव्यः भगवान् नॄणाम्.
Translation and purport by the Śrīla Prabhupada, Jagadguru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. O King, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. Purport. Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī begins this verse with the word Tasmāt, or therefore, because in the previous verse he has already explained that there is no auspicious means for salvation other than the sublime process of Bhakti Yoga. The Bhakti Yoga process is practiced by the devotees in different methods like hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping, praying, rendering service in love, becoming friendly, and offering all that one may possess. All 9 methods are bona fide methods, and either all of them, some of them, or even one of them can bring about the desired result for the sincere devotee. But out of all the 9 different methods, the first one, namely hearing, is the most important function in the process of Bhakti Yoga. Without hearing sufficiently and properly, no one can make any progress by any of the method of practice. And for hearing only, all the Vedic literatures are there compiled by authorized persons like Vasudeva, who is powerful incarnation of Godhead. And since it has been ascertained that the Lord is the super soul of everything, he should therefore be heard and glorified everywhere and always. That is the special duty of the human being. When the human being gives up the process of hearing about the all pervading personality of Godhead, he becomes victim to hearing rubbish transmitted by man made machine. Machinery is not bad because through the machine one can take advantage of hearing about the Lord. But because machinery is used for ulterior purposes, it is creating rapid degradation in the standard of human civilization. It is said here that it is incumbent upon the human being to hear because the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are made for that purpose. Living beings other than human beings have no ability to hear such Vedic literature. If human society gives itself to the process of hearing the Vedic literature, it will not become a victim to the impious sounds vibrated by impious men who degrade the standards of the total society. Hearing is solidified by the process of chanting. One who has perfectly heard from the perfect source becomes convinced about the all pervading personality of Godhead and thus becomes enthusiastic in glorifying the Lord. All the great acharyas like Ramanuja, Madhva, Chaitanya, Saraswati Thakur, or even in other countries, Muhammad, Christ, and others have all extensively glorified the Lord by chanting always and in every place because the Lord is all pervading. It is essential to glorify Him always and everywhere. In the process of glorifying the Lord, there should be no restriction of time and space. This is called sanātana-dharma or Bhagavad Dharma. Sanatan means eternal, always and everywhere. Bhagavat means pertaining to Bhagwan, the Lord. The Lord is the most master of all time and all space. And therefore, the Lord's holy name must be heard, glorified, and remembered everywhere in the world. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity so eagerly awaited by the people of the world. The word cha includes all the remaining processes or methods of Bhakti Yoga as mentioned above. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिने ते नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, chapter 2nd, the Lord in the heart, shloka number 36. This is most important shloka. You remember Parikshit Maharaj also asking this question: What is which what is important for a human being who is dying nearly, and what he should hear, what should he kirtan, what should he remember, all questions he asked. And like that here also describing Brahmaji or with the Narad and Brahmaji's conversation discussing Sutta Goswami in the Naimisharanya. They told here Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī begins this verse Tasmāt, word using Tasmāt. Tasmāt means before it. Before means 35 shlokas which they are told about the Bhagavan Sarvabhuteshu Lakshita Swa Atmana Hari. When uh, the fact is pursued and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligent. There they describing, addressing that, describing here Tasmāt word. And Prabhuji will tell us about the importance of the um, hearing, glorifying, remembering of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where everywhere and always 24 hours a day we must remembering, glorifying and hearing about personality of Godhead. Prabhuji will tell us in nicely. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhu bhevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for a wonderful initiation. So here it is Shukdev Goswami ji, who is responding to the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. And now, after having told him what is to be done, he is now telling that it is therefore very important that we hear, glorify, and remember Krishna. So, Shukdev Goswami ji is emphasizing the Bhakti Yoga as the sole auspicious path for liberation. And among all its processes, hearing, śravaṇam is the most crucial. Therefore, it is the essential, eternal duty. It's as good as sanātana-dharma of all human beings to hear, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord at all times and in all places. Prahlad Maharaj, you will see in the 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd, 24th shloka, he says, Shri Prahlad Uvacha, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Iti Punsa Arpita Vishnu Bhakti Cha Etanavalakshanah Kriyeta Bhagavati Yadha Tat Namanye Adhitam Uttamam. So he's saying, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with body, mind, and souls. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So just look at how Prahlad Maharaj, a small child, is responding to his father when he was asked to say something about whatever he has learned. And so he is telling about this important aspect. Bhakti pareshan anubhava vikriti anyatra cha. So this is the symptom of a pure devotional service. A pure devotee is interested only in devotional service, not in material affairs. So this is exactly what Shukdev Goswami ji is informing Parikshit Maharaj. And that is why, as Mataji said, Tasmāt, therefore, conclusive imperative. So it's a conclusive imperative. The whole shloka is beginning with Tasmāt. That means it is a logical conclusion from the previous verse, which explained how the Lord is present in the heart of all living beings as Paramātmā. So remembering, hearing, glorifying him is essential for spiritual awakening. And that is why you will see God has not given 1 year, he has given 2 years. So Shravanam has to be twice. That is important. And Bhakti Yoga is the only auspicious path for liberation, irrespective of whatever we do. No other process, whether it is karma, jnana, or the Siddhi Yoga, mysticism, neither of those can assure pure liberation, which you can achieve with Bhakti Yoga, because it is rooted in loving service to Krishna. And that is why it includes all the 9 primary limbs. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Dasyam, Padasevanam. Everything is included here, as we see. That is why Prabhupada in the purport is mentioning that all the 9 limbs, hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, praying, serving, becoming a friend, surrendering, and offering everything. And Shravanam, that is the foundation of bhakti. And it's not that all those 9 have to be practiced. One or all of that can be done. For example, hearing we talk about so Maharaj Parikshit. The last 7 days of his life, what is he doing? What we are seeing, reading right now, is constantly hearing. Kirtanam, Shukadeva Gosvāmī ji, he is speaking the Bhagavatam to the Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj. Remembering Vishnu Smarna, Prahlad Maharaj, he never forgot Krishna. He was being tortured in so many ways. Padasevanam, Lakshmi Maya, the goddess of fortune, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, always. Archanam, Prithu Maharaj, deity worship. He used all his royal possessions to offer them in pure devotion to Lord. Vandanam is praying, Akrura. You offered prayers to Krishna when you are traveling to Vrindavan in order to see Krishna. Dasyam, executing orders, Hanumanji, intimate servant of Lord Ramchandra. He executed all orders despite all kinds of difficulties. Sakhyam, serving as a friend, Arjuna, so close to Krishna that Krishna offered himself to become his chariot driver and serve Arjuna and his brothers. Atmanivedanam, complete surrender. Bali Maharaj, he gave Vamandev his entire kingdom, his possession, as well as his own body, though his own spiritual master was against it. And if you look at Maharaj Ambrish, he demonstrated everything in his life. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temple, Krishna's places. He engaged in senses of touch in touching the bodies of Lord's devotees. He engaged his senses of smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to Lord. He engaged his tongue in tasting Lord's prasadam. So that either you do one or all, that is important. But amongst all, Shravanam, hearing, is the foundation of bhakti. Without proper and sufficient hearing from authentic sources, no other method can yield spiritual fruit. Vyasdevji is the empowered incarnation of Krishna. He compiled the Vedic scriptures for this very purpose. And human life that we get, it's a rare opportunity to hear the Lord. Only human beings have the capacity to understand and hear Vedas. The other species, they lack this ability. And that is why this is a rare chance. Manushya Janma. Rare chance to connect to Supreme Lord. But unfortunately, we are hearing rubbish sound, which is a misuse of modern media. Machines, TV, radio, internet, mobiles, CD players, they are not inherently bad. They can broadcast Krishna Katha. But when they are used to spread impious, sensual sounds, they degrade human society rapidly. Because when humans stop hearing about Krishna, they become victims of this rubbish sound vibration. So hearing should lead to chanting and glorification. Perfect hearing leads to deep conviction in Lord's presence and potency. And that conviction naturally expresses as enthusiastic chanting and glorification of the Lord. We talk about Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Saraswati Thakur, even Jesus Christ, Muhammad. Everyone glorified the Lord always and everywhere. And that is why sanātana-dharma, it is always, everywhere, without restriction. The call to hear and glorify the Lord is timeless, sanatan, universal. It's not bound by geography, race, or historical era. It applies to all humanity, all times, every place. And there's consistency of the message as well, if you see in the scriptures. Like the fifth shloka of the first chapter, we saw one who desires freedom from misery must hear and remember the Lord. And 14th shloka of the second chapter of the first canto, we saw with one pointed attention, hear, chant, and meditate on Bhagwan constantly. So, repetition in Shastra signifies importance. And there are practical examples and illustrations as well. Like in Krishna book, we studied the story of Shrutadev, the Brahman. So he was a humble poor Brahman, but he hosted Lord Krishna and sages with deep devotion. Despite material poverty, he became most fortunate due to his sincere devotional service. In fact, out of humility, he said, "How can I deserve the Lord's association?" And Krishna personally affirmed that. Association of saintly person purifies immediately, their influence transformative. And we have Lord with us, the presence of the Lord in the heart, Paramātmā realization. Krishna resides within every soul from the beginning. Yet, because of the material conditioning, we fail to perceive him. But the moment we have a contact with a pure devotee, it awakens consciousness through hearing, glorification, worship, prayers, and philosophical discussions. So the question naturally comes, how is it that devotional service reveals the Lord? And the answer is constant chanting and hearing purify the heart of material lust. A clean heart becomes the throne where Krishna himself reveals. And this process replaces fruitive activities with loving remembrance of the Lord. That is why we have to be always associating with the devotee and avoiding the non-devotees. A devotee sees the Lord as his eternal companion within the heart, while a non-devotee sees God as a death or an impersonal force. A devotee lives transcendentally under the Lord's direct dictation. A non-devotee remains filled under Yoga Maya, caught in bodily identification and sensual pursuits. A cat is a death for the rat, but shelter for her kitten is an example for a non-devotee. But for a devotee, Yogmana cannot cover his vision at all. So he sees cat only as a soul. So Prabhupada ji explains that it's a special duty of a human being to hear and glorify the Lord without any hindrance, anytime, anywhere. This transforms consciousness from material to spiritual. Hearing, when solidified by chanting, becomes the vehicle of deliverance, which is very, very important. In fact, hearing can enable anyone to become a devotee. Like it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Striya Vaishya Tatha Shudrasya Te Api Yanti Param Gatim. Although women, Shudras are considered less intelligent, they also become devotees and return home back to Godhead. So you have to understand Shravanam. Shravanam refers to giving oral reception to the holy name and descriptions of Lord's form, qualities, entourage, pastimes. As we see in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other authorized scriptures. And after orally receiving such messages, one should memorize the vibrations and repeat them. That is Kirtanam. So let us take this, because when we understand this, automatically all our other desires will get replaced. We will not have any other uh, objectives in our life. Anyabhilashita shunyam dhyana karmadi anavritam anukullena krishnanu bhaktiruttamam. So one should therefore render transcendental loving service to Krishna favorably without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. You should simply satisfy Krishna without being influenced by fruitive knowledge or fruitive activity. And to achieve that, śravaṇam is very, very important. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has enunciated Cheto Darpana Marjanam. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is cleansed of the material conception of life, which is due to dirty modes of material nature. And when the dirt is cleansed, we can realize Krishna. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. So, these shlokas which are being mentioned here by Shukadeva Gosvāmī ji, Parikshit Maharaj is to emphasize and make him aware that what he is doing right now is the best. So the final takeaway for us is hearing about the Lord is not optional, it is the special eternal duty of human life. The entire Vedic system exists to facilitate hearing about Bhagavan. Shravanam leads to Smaranam and Kirtanam, which leads to realization and liberation. So if every one of us returns to culture of hearing, peace, prosperity, God realization will naturally follow as expected by Krishna. Thank you very much.